Today's a WRAL weather alert day for the potential for isolated flooding like we saw yesterday. I'll show you where the rain is and where it's headed.
You're looking live right now westbound I-40 and Highway 55 in Durham. Look at the backups there. The rain is making for a soggy lunch hour here. We'll explain which areas have a chance for flooding.
Safety in schools, how school resource officers and principals are teaming up to protect students and faculty.
Today is a WRAL weather alert day, and we want to welcome you in on this Tuesday afternoon. I'm Jeff Hogan.
And I'm Renee Chu. Thanks for joining us. Pockets of heavy rain will be with us through the afternoon. You're looking live at a picture of Chapel Hill from the top of the hill, and you can see the overcast skies there, and a look at Fenton and Cary as well, where it looks rather deserted.
Yeah, we have team coverage for you of this WRAL weather alert day, beginning with meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center right now with a look at the timeline for things. Elizabeth.
Here's a look at what we're expecting. We have the potential for localized flooding like we saw yesterday. Only pockets of the viewing area saw very heavy rain yesterday, but we did have places where we saw as much as 3 to 5 inches of rain. Looking at that again, potential for maybe 1 to 3 in spots. It won't be everywhere. It's not going to be widespread, only in pockets, but we will have the potential to see it all the way through the evening commute. Here's a look at dual Doppler 5000 radar. Right now, the bulk of the heaviest rain is going to be from southern Wake County over there through Wayne County down toward Fayetteville into the Sandhills. Now, it does look like we're starting to see more of that rain developing north of Raleigh. And again, any part of the viewing area could see some of this heavy rain. Right now, we're seeing some of that around Southern Pines, lots of lightning there, a little bit of lightning also down toward Clinton there in the northern part of Sampson County, some of that in southern Wake County, and also over toward Goldsboro. So those are the areas seeing some of that heaviest rain right now. Well, you know, it's early and we're going to continue to see this on and off through the rest of the day. We take a look here at Pinehurst and you can see a lot of water there. It looks like, as a matter of fact, they've got the cart path closed right now because there's such a big puddle of water. So lots of it starting to pile up in places. Here's a look at futurecast as we take it on through the afternoon. We'll continue to see waves of rain moving through. This is not doing a great job of even showing us what's happening right now. The models have not been handling all of this heavy rain very well. We're looking at a 60% chance of rain on through the afternoon, and it is a low end, a level 1 risk of flooding, again, for that potential for 1 to 3 inches, at least in some spots. Our temperatures this afternoon likely to climb into the mid 80s or maybe a little bit of sunshine in a few spots. We're also going to be taking a look at the tropics. Of course, we're following Tropical Storm Irwin. As of 11 o'clock, the track is similar to what it was yesterday. Still could be a Category 3 storm by the weekend. I'll show you what that could mean for us coming up.
Elizabeth, happening out on the roadways this rainy and soggy noon hour. We're seeing a little bit of a slowdown between Highway 55 and Fayetteville Road there in Durham. Of course, Fayetteville Road, that's the street at South Point exit. We're working to figure out exactly what's causing that slowdown as we take you out, courtesy of our live cam network. You can see what I'm talking about. Those are the westbound lanes moving away from us, really bumper to bumper traffic this noon hour. You might be wise to take an alternate route, maybe like a Highway 70 as an alternate route. We got Raleigh police working this crash scene on Blue Ridge Road in the westbound lane near Summit Park. That's Crabtree Valley Mall there. We're not seeing any delays in that particular area, but just watch for some police activity there on Blue Ridge Road. As far as the major routes coming into the capital city, you're just looking at a 4-minute delay if you're coming in from Wake Forest on US 1 and Capitol Boulevard. Over in Durham, we're seeing very little to no delays, short of that delays that we're seeing on I-40 westbound near Highway 55. You see it right there, but all the other major routes are delay-free at this noon hour.
And when severe weather is in your area, we want to see what you are seeing. Take pictures and video when it is safe to do that and send it to us at WRAL.com/reported. You can upload what you see there and we will share your pictures and video on television and online.
In less than 2 weeks, Wake County students on the traditional calendar will return to the classroom. Today, school resource officers, teachers, and administrators discuss new safety measures as well as upgrades to old plans. WRAL's Destiny Patterson is live at Athens Drive High School right now. Destiny, the district will be fully rolling out an app to alert authorities during any emergency.
Renee, that's right. Take a look. This is the Rave Panic Button app. You can see this is a digital way to alert authorities if there's ever an emergency on campus. And this is what it looks like. The district did roll it out last year around February. But since then, now the security director says that the district and staff will have more access to more features within the app. So that's why they're saying that it's going to be fully rolled out this school year. In general, the security director says that his team, they focused on preventing incidents in the first place instead of responding to them.
Many years ago, it was a suppression thing. It was the law enforcement thing. Now, that job of the SRO is kind of morphed more into a community policing model.
Right now, you're looking at video of past trainings. After talking with us, district leaders discussed emergency response plans. They went through some drills, did some additional training. But for security reasons, we weren't allowed in those meetings. We do know that the district discussed that Rave Panic Button app that I just showed you, as well as some others. And they have adjusted their security plans in the past few years. The security director that you just heard from, he mentioned social media. He says that the threats on social media have become a game changer, and they have had to adjust to those. Destiny Patterson, WRAL News, 11 Raleigh.
Today, teachers in Wake County can get free supplies for their classrooms. It's part of Wake Ed's Tools for Schools partnership. It will be held at Wake Ed's location on Capitol Boulevard from 1 until 4 today and on Thursday. Last school year, the organization served more than 5,000 teachers.
Happening this afternoon in Zebulon, the police department is hosting its own back-to-school drive. You can bring school supplies to the Walmart on East Gannon Avenue. That event will last from 2 to 7 p.m. WRAL has you covered for the start of the new school year. Find out where to find the cheapest supplies, what to do if you're nervous about the first day, and more, all by going to WRAL.com. Search Back to School.
And happening right now in the WRAL Live Center, we have an update to a fatal shooting that we first told you about yesterday in Durham. Police have identified the suspect who is pronounced dead at the scene. They say it was 23-year-old Damian Tinsley. The female victim who died from her injuries at a local hospital has been identified as 21-year-old London Powers. This happened on East Knox Street around 3 o'clock yesterday. This is video. Police found 2 people shot. Tinsley died at the scene. Powers was brought to the hospital where she later died. Police say this is an isolated incident, and it remains an ongoing investigation this afternoon.
Part of Fairview Road in Raleigh near 5 Points is open to traffic again this hour. Crews removed a tree that fell in the road overnight. WRAL's Ali Kadlabar was there all morning and gives us a look at some of the damage.
Yes, 3 cars damaged. This large tree, it toppled onto Fairview Road, crushed this truck right here, leaving a mess for city crews, homeowners, and the owners of these cars.
I was half asleep and she was awake, and next thing I know, she's like rushing out of the door because there was a huge sound. We come out here and see all of this.
All of this included a large oak covering the road. It totaled Cy Graham and his fiancee Avery Zimmerman's landlord's truck and buried their cars.
There's 2 cars under there, both barely visible, and both of them with, from what we can see, dents at least at the top.
The tree fell around 11 p.m. after yesterday's downpours. Crews had to use cranes and chainsaws throughout the morning to clear the road and sidewalks. It left minimal damage to the home, but they are speaking with their insurance companies and tree removal crews today. Reporting in Raleigh, Ali Kadlabar, WRAL News.
President Donald Trump and congressional Republicans are quietly rolling back the Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare. ACA marketplace enrollment reached a record high for a 4th year in a row, totaling more than 24 million people in 2025. The president's spending bill contains the largest ever cuts to federal support for health coverage. Millions are expected to lose health care coverage through a rule from the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services.
Renee, that same bill will cause nearly 2.5 million people to lose food stamps benefits. The Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, SNAP, has long required certain adults to work to receive benefits for longer than 3 months. However, President Trump's big, beautiful bill now requires those with kids 14 and older to work at least 80 hours per month. The law also requires adults between the ages of 55 and 64, veterans, people experiencing homelessness, and former foster care youth to meet the mandate as well. We'll take a look at stocks this noon. All the major indices are up big. You see the Dow Jones Industrial Average. As soon as that CPI report came out, it went up over 200. That was pre-trading. Now it's up 465 points right now. NASDAQ is up well over 200 points as well.
Next at noon, Target shooting rampage. The search for a motive after a man killed 3 people in a Texas parking lot.
Also, big bust thanks to a canine. The amount of meth found in a traffic stop along a South Dakota highway.
Plus, Firenado in Portugal. What fueled this phenomenon?
Coming up next, sea storms moving in with WRAL's exclusive Dual Doppler 5000, sponsored by the WRAL Weather app. Download now for live radar.
Take a look at this amazing video of a fiery plane crash in Montana. Now, miraculously, 4 people lived to tell the story about this. Police and fire officials say a pilot and 3 passengers in that small plane were coming in for a landing when the plane bounced upon landing and skidded off the runway. It hit what may have been several other unoccupied parked planes there, creating a long trail of fire and smoke. Nobody was in those other planes, and all 4 were okay. Breaking news this hour, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation says the CDC shooter shot and killed himself. Investigators say Patrick Joseph White broke into his father's gun safe and took 5 guns that were taken to that shooting. White's family told police he believed the COVID-19 vaccine was making him depressed and suicidal. Officials found more than 500 shell casings and nearly 200 rounds hit buildings on the CDC campus. Officer David Rose was shot and killed while responding to that incident.
3 people are dead, including a child and 2 adults, after a shooting rampage at a North Austin Target. Now police are searching for a motive. 3 people died and the suspected shooter is in custody. It happened just after 2 o'clock. Officers say the suspect stole a car and fled the scene, then crashed. That person then hijacked another vehicle before he was arrested a short time later.
It's just a lot. Mental strain of having to see like dead bodies and blood and guns, and it's a lot.
A statement from Target reads, in part, we are devastated by the violence. Our hearts are with the families and loved ones of those who lost their lives, and we're grateful to the first responders who acted quickly.
And happening right now in the WRAL Live Center, we now have the mugshot of the shooter. This is him. NBC News just released that picture. He is there. Let me go back to it so I can show you his face again. This is 32-year-old Ethan Nineker. He does have a 2017 conviction on a felony assault charge. He is said to have a history of struggles with mental health. No other information has been released. But again, that was the mugshot just released of the suspect, 32-year-old Ethan Nineker.
South Dakota is highlighting the largest methamphetamine bust in the state's highway patrol history. Troopers pulled over a 42-year-old man for speeding. And officers say a police canine detected those drugs, prompting a vehicle search. Inside the vehicle, they say they found over 200 pounds of meth, a street value of $12 million. The man faces several charges, including felony distribution and possession of a controlled substance. Tropical storm Erin killed at least 6 people in the island nation of Cape Verde. It's off West African coast. That storm brought heavy rain, thunderstorms, and intense lightning. Local authorities say 4 children are among the people killed. Forecasters expect this storm to become the first hurricane of the 2025 Atlantic season.
Storm names cycle through every 6 years, which is why you may have heard the name Erin before. WRAL meteorologist Chris Michaels shows us when a previous Erin formed and where that storm was on 9/11.
There actually was a storm named Erin off the East Coast. on September 11th, 2001. Now, these storms get recycled every 6 years. The names do, at least, from the World Meteorological Organization. The names get retired if the storms are especially damaging or deadly, right? So we'll never have a Katrina, a Helene, a Michael again because those storms were historic in parts of the country. Now, in terms of these tropical systems, they have 4 different corners to them. The southwest corner is usually the dry and breezy one. So when you look at the estimated location of Hurricane Erin on September 11th, 2001, it was off the coast of New England. Much of the East Coast was on that west side. So you may remember that very blue and clear sky on the morning of 9/11. Now, in terms of storm names that we have moving forward, obviously we've got Erin out there, thousands of miles out to sea. We're forecasting 13 to 15 named storms, which would take us through Melissa, Nestor, and Olga.
Chris, thank you. And we will be checking in to the tropics in just a moment. But first, Elizabeth gives us a look at the widespread rain that we're seeing on radar. Elizabeth, where are we seeing the heaviest downpours right now?
Some of the heaviest rain is actually from southern Wake County southward. Some lightning interspersed there. And some of this rain is quite heavy. And it's starting a good bit earlier than it did yesterday. And so that's not necessarily good news, except for the fact that it may rain itself out. And so maybe the duration will be the same. It's just starting a little bit earlier. Beginning to see some of that rain becoming a little heavier up here in Franklin County, but definitely just north of Goldsboro, some thunder and lightning. The northern part of Sampson County, southern Wake County, and down toward Fayetteville is where we're seeing some of that heavier rain. We just had some heavy rain come through Holly Springs and Fuquay-Varina, headed toward Garner. It's most likely going to clip Raleigh, especially the southern part of town here. Of course, we had a lot of heavy rain there yesterday, but let's talk about how much we've seen already today. This is just in the last 6 hours, 2 inches just south of Pinehurst. We've seen about an inch in Fayetteville. We've seen about 2 inches there in the southern part of Johnston County, about half an inch here in the southern part of Chatham County. So a lot of rain in our southern counties, not as much up to the north just yet, but that may change as we get through the day. The computer models, unfortunately, have not been handling this particular weather pattern very well. This pattern is just a lot of tropical moisture with a few triggers here and there that start to pop these cells. And you can see there's just not a whole lot of it showing up here on Futurecast. That was the same thing yesterday. It was a little bit misleading because it was like, oh, it doesn't look like we're going to see a whole lot. And then we had flooding in downtown Raleigh. So definitely with this same pattern, flooding is going to be a possibility in any part of the viewing area, but it will be like yesterday where it's just scattered or isolated. And already we've seen up to 2 inches in some places. So easily 1 to 3 inches, maybe even some areas heavier than that by the end of the day. What's happening here is we have high pressure out here in the Atlantic just to our southeast, and then a low pressure system back to our west. So those are translating all that tropical moisture right into our area because of the circulation around those two systems, that high and the low. So easily over the next several days, we're going to have widespread totals at 1 to 2 inches of rainfall. And of course, we're going to see plenty of that already today. Here's a live look at Durham. Gray skies here, 80 degrees with a dew point of 75. So it's not too hot, but 75 is a really high dew point. Our high temperatures could be as warm as mid 80s for today. Once we get into Friday and Saturday, we begin to feel a whole lot more like August. The heat index will be up to 101 on Friday and 100 Saturday, probably the same story again on Sunday. So we do have heat in our forecast, and we'll talk more about that in a bit. Erin is moving to the west at 23 miles per hour, still with winds at 45 miles per hour. It's likely to become a hurricane by tomorrow evening and then a major hurricane over the weekend, but it's still well away from land. What we're going to do in a few minutes is take a look at some of the hurricane-specific computer models and show you when it may begin to make that curve up to the north and how close it could come to us, at least what we know so far. Definitely looks like we're going to have some very hot conditions getting into the weekend, Ken.
Yeah, Elizabeth, it's happening now. The splashes of green show exactly where the wet road conditions are, as Elizabeth just mentioned, mainly in southern Wake County. We're still seeing a little bit of a slowdown on I-40 westbound right here between Highway 55 and Highway 54 this morning. It's a situation where we're looking at right now, if you're in this particular situation, you probably will, best bet will be to take Highway 54 over to Fayetteville Road. That'll get you around the slowdown that we're seeing on that I-40 westbound, because this is what it looks like right now, the bumper-to-bumper traffic moving in those westbound lanes.
Ken, thank you. Record high homicide? That's what President Trump said about crime in Washington, D.C. during his news conference. Today on WRAL News at 4, our PolitiFact team will review what he said about murders, carjackings, and more.
Consuming ultra-processed food. A new report from the American Heart Association says they're not good for your health. On WRAL News at 6, local experts share advice on how you can shop better and cleaner ahead of back-to-school season. Well, still ahead this noon, protecting children. 5 on your side looks at the new regulations designed to keep your kids safer.
And a royal partnership. Netflix renews its deal with the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. What viewers can expect in the future. Tougher safety rules are on the way for car seats, focusing on dangerous side impact crashes. The goal? Better crash protection for your little one. 5 on your side's Keely Arthur shares what the changes are and when they take effect.
More than 1,000 children die in car accidents every year. That's according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. And for years, manufacturers have been talking about making improvements to side impacts. But there's been no industry standard until 2025.
Previously, the car seat regulations were only looking at frontal impact protection, but now they've been updated to also focus on side impact protection, which is great because we know that there is a high risk of injury and fatality with side impact crashes.
Just when the new regulation will take effect is still being decided, but will likely happen this year. And there's good news for parents. The new regulation doesn't mean you need a new car seat. Your current car seat is already tested to a tough standard and will keep your child safe. Consumer Reports conducts independent crash testing for car seats that goes far beyond the federal standard. 5 on your side always wants you to have the most effective products in your home. Consumer Reports has a list of their top car seat picks. We have those up on our website, WRAL.com. In Raleigh, Keely Arthur, 5 on your side.
Eastman Kodak could soon be out of business. The 133-year-old photography company warned investors that it might not be able to survive much longer. Kodak says it doesn't have the money or financing to pay its roughly $500 million in upcoming debt obligations. For years, Kodak dominated the photography world, but the rise of digital technology changed the industry landscape.
Elon Musk is threatening to sue Apple for not featuring X and his Grok's AI chatbot, among the top apps in its app store. Now, in a post on X, Musk called out Apple for not listing those apps in the must-have section, saying X is the top news app in the world and Grok is number 5 among all apps. Musk says Apple makes it impossible for any AI company other than OpenAI to reach that top spot in the App Store, which he alleges is an antitrust violation. Prince Harry and his wife Meghan Markle are staying on Netflix. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex have reached a multi-year first-look deal for film and television projects. The collaboration began in 2020 with projects like a documentary about their love story titled Harry and Meghan. It most recently included the lifestyle and cooking show With Love, Meghan, which will return for a second season and a special holiday episode as well.
You're looking at a live picture of Fayetteville, courtesy of the WRAL camera network. Look at how heavy the rain is right there. It's a WRAL Weather Alert Day. Now is a great time to download our new app so you'll know when severe weather and possible flooding is headed your way. Elizabeth Gardner returns with a look at the forecast.
Immigration crackdown, how some farmers say the Trump administration's efforts are impacting their bottom line. Here are your winning NC Education lottery numbers on your screen. We'll be right back.
Today is WRAL Weather Alert Day. Pockets of heavy rain will be with us through the afternoon.
Hey, you're looking at a live picture right now. Sanford is the place. You see the raindrops on the camera right there. It's coming down just about everywhere in our viewing area. You'd think by looking around at all our cameras. A look at RDU International, though. Quite the opposite, a break in the clouds a little bit there.
We have team coverage of this WRAL Weather Alert Day. We begin with meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center with a look at the timeline for all this.
You know, it's good to look at those two different cameras where it is pouring and where we have a little bit of sunshine, because that really is what we're going to see today. It tells the story very well. It will be localized. We're going to have some pockets of heavy rain like we did yesterday. It just happened to be one of the pockets was right over downtown Raleigh. So, you know, that gets a whole lot of attention. At least 1 to 3 inches in certain parts of the viewing area. Other parts of the viewing area today may see very little rain, but we have a good chance of seeing at least some of those pockets all the way through the evening commute. And the radar looks fairly active, but you'll be able to pick out some places where we're not seeing a whole lot of rain, like Durham and Chapel Hill, parts of Chatham County, and then up near the Virginia line. But there are definitely places where that rain is falling pretty heavily already, and some places in our southern counties have already seen 2 inches of rain, and we're really just getting started. We have some heavy rain here in the southern part of Wake County, about to move into Garner, some of that on the northern part of the Beltline, and then, of course, over into Johnston County. We head down to the south toward Fayetteville. We're seeing some heavier rain. That's starting to move over towards Salemburg and Roseboro. Take a look at this in North Hills. I mean, it is coming down in North Hills, and then over at the airport, we're seeing a little bit of sunshine. So that's what we're dealing with today. We're going to continue to have these waves of rain really on and off for the bulk of the day. Once we get to, say, 7 or 8 o'clock, we may be finished with it, but we'll likely repeat this again tomorrow. The same weather pattern will be with us again. 60% chance of rain until around 4 or 5 o'clock this evening, and then it begins to drop off a little bit. Just like yesterday, we have that low-end flooding risk, and we likely will see some flooding in the places where we're seeing these all this heavy rain. And Ken's here to talk a little bit more about where some of that rain is affecting the roads.
Yeah, Elizabeth, happening out on the roadways right now. The splashes of green showing you exactly where the wet road conditions are. We're seeing a little bit of congestion right now between Highway 55 and Fayetteville Road. That's the streets at South Point exit. I tell you, if you're caught up in this or if you're getting ready to hit I-40 westbound, your best bet will be to take Highway 54 to Fayetteville Road. That'll get you around that slowdown that we're seeing here on a live traffic map this morning. You can see the bumper traffic. We're working to figure out exactly what's causing the congestion other than just a lot of people out on the roads this time of the afternoon. Here we go, I-40 and Lake Wheeler Road. You can see in the distance there that rain that Elizabeth just talked about coming down around the Lake Wheeler Road exit area, but you can see traffic is flowing nicely in all directions. In terms of other routes coming into the capital city, the good news is very little to no delays that we're seeing right now coming into the capital city. Friends in Wake Forest, you're looking at a 5-minute delay if you're coming in on US 1 Capitol Boulevard, if you will. Over in Durham, we're not seeing too much of a delays whatsoever, so that's really good news, short of that slowdown that we're seeing right there on I-40 westbound between Highway 55 and Fayetteville Road.
Thanks, Ken. Remember, when severe weather is in your area, we want to see what you see. Take pictures and video when it's safe to do so, and then send it to us at WRAL.com/report it. You can upload what you see there, and we will share your pictures and video on television and online.
First day of school for Wake County students, just under 13 days away now. Today, we'll get an update on work to make sure the air conditioning is working properly when kids get to those classrooms. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey is outside Vance Elementary School, one of the schools that has had problems with its AC during hot weather.
Vance Elementary here is just one of several Wake County schools that's had HVAC issues. This year-round school had to dismiss students early on a day back in June because the AC stopped working in the middle of the first heat wave of the summer. Wake school leaders will meet today for an update on HVAC maintenance. More than 60 schools have been impacted by some type of HVAC issue. That's about 1/3 of all schools in the district. At times, students were stuck in the heat for most of the school day. That's because the HVAC system would break too late in the day for early dismissal. School leaders have been working to fix this problem.
They've doubled their HVAC maintenance budget. It was $20 million just 2 school years ago, and last year was $40 million. And the number is just slowly going up over the next few years.
We've asked the district for the number of schools that had to close because of HVAC issues last year. We're still waiting to hear back from them on that, but that data is scheduled to be released later this afternoon when school board members are supposed to meet. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News in Wake County.
And happening right now, Wake County school leaders are holding their annual School Resource Officer Summit. Authorities and school security leaders are discussing the Rave Panic Button app. They'll also talk about law enforcement's role in behavioral threat assessments. People who go to that will also take part in a breakout that explores responses to bomb threats. There's also a new tool to protect Nash County school resource officers. Sheriff Keith Stone says ballistic shields will allow for a more efficient response and therefore keep students safer. SROs who went through the training with students with autism as well, and they partnered with the SBI for behavioral threat assessment training. Nash County is the only district we found in our area using those shields for safety.
Starting today, a DMV driver's license office in our area will close the next 2 days. The office in Smithfield needs repairs. Anyone with appointments should have had them automatically rescheduled. The closest driver's license office is in Clayton. That's about 20 minutes away. Durham County will start sending out its property tax bills today. People who live in unincorporated areas will also see their bills for solid waste service. People need to pay before January 5th or they face penalties.
All month long, we are helping area animals find their forever homes during our Clear the Shelters adoption event. Cumberland County Animal Services will be offering free adoptions on August 22nd through the 29th. So give a furry friend a fresh start. You can learn more and locate a shelter near you by going to WRAL.com/shelters.
And happening right now in the WRAL Live Center, another update to that fatal shooting that happened in Durham on East Knox Street. At the top of the hour, we told you 2 people died, 23-year-old Damian Tinsley and 21-year-old London Powers. We are learning this afternoon that Powers was an NCCU student. They did post a message on their website here. They posted writing, Powers had aspirations to earn her Master of Social Work degree, focusing on adolescent and mental health. London's professors and peers will remember her as vibrant, hardworking, and a very supportive student.
Ripple effect, how the Trump administration's crackdown on illegal immigrants is affecting farms and the food supply.
And Perseid peaks when, where, and how to catch the Perseid meteor shower. Give you this live look right now, a rain-soaked Clinton. And you see raindrops not just on the street, on the camera as well. It's wet out there as you watch WRAL News, available on Hulu and the WRAL app on your TV or streaming device.
For weeks, some farmers have been complaining about the negative impact President Trump's crackdown on immigration has had on the agriculture industry. The loss of workers is causing problems for farmers. Dan Springer shares the impact.
When ICE raided a California farm in June, rounding up illegal immigrants, the ripple effect has led to worker shortages at farms all the way up the West Coast. Some cherry growers in Oregon and Washington State say they had to leave more than a third of their crop on the trees.
It certainly doesn't help when you're already facing a labor shortage to now have your current employees that you generally depend on, not being sure if they want to come to work or not because of those potential, threats, I guess, to them.
The USDA reports 42% of farm workers are undocumented. Other estimates say it's at least 2/3, but that could be changing. Just about every worker in this apple orchard in Brewster, Washington, is a legal foreign guest worker on a 6-month contract through the government's H-2A program.
I don't know that I would call it a silver bullet. It allows an employer to bring in a legal workforce to work on their property and in their orchards and on their farms.
Gebbers Farms is the largest cherry producer in the U.S. This year, it hired more than 3,500 guest workers from Mexico, South America, and Jamaica, over 90% of its workforce. The biggest downside, cost. Employers pay for transportation, housing, and wages close to $20 an hour, about $3 above the state's minimum wage. The Trump administration has proposed a major streamlining overhaul.
That was Dan Springer reporting. More than 380,000 guest farm workers now use the H-2A visa program. That's a 300% increase since 2010. But most small and mid-sized farms still can't afford the program.
Watching for meteors, good luck. Astronomers say the Perseids will peak today. The best time to catch the show, we'll tell you after the break, but it is a WRAL weather alert day. This is a live picture right now out at the DBAP. Well, they got the tarp off the field anyway. Elizabeth Gardner will be back tracking the system and tells us who could see a flooding risk. Swirling wind and extreme heat combined to form this fire-nado in Portugal. What video that is shows a tornado lifting fire into the air as emergency workers attempt to extinguish multiple wildfires in Portugal. The fires were fueled by temperatures reaching up to 109 degrees. Portugal is forecasted to remain under an extreme weather alert until at least tomorrow. One of the best meteor showers of the year will peak in just a couple of hours. It's the Perseid meteor shower. It's known for producing dozens of bright meteors that leave long streaks. It'll reach its high point at 4 this afternoon. In previous years, it produced around 40 to 50 visible meteors per hour. Sky gazers likely won't see as many this year. That's because the Perseid shower is occurring shortly after August's full moon. You can also catch the shower tomorrow morning in the eastern sky. A daytime meteor shower. And we have clouds anyway. We're not going to see it.
That's right. We're not going to get to see it. Yeah, it's unfortunately. Yeah, it's one of the biggest ones of the year. It's a really good one. But we'll be watching the raindrops instead.
And watching the tropics.
Exactly. Of course, we know air informed yesterday. By the weekend, it'll be moving fast to the northern part of the Caribbean, not necessarily near land, but it's going to move across the Atlantic pretty quickly over the next few days. It's likely to take a curve to the north. And we'll take a look at what that could look like coming up. Right now, we'll just take a peek at where it is. It still has a circulation here, but looks a little bit more ragged than it did yesterday. It's looked like this for most of the day, however. It's likely to move into an area that's going to be a little more conducive for it to develop and grow in strength. It's moving west at about 23 miles per hour, so moving along pretty quickly with winds at 45 miles per hour. By tomorrow evening, it's likely to reach hurricane strength, so that'll be pretty quick. Actually, tomorrow, I should say, the new track has it at 8 p.m. on Thursday. So that's about a day later than what we saw earlier. So a little bit slower to develop. So by 8 p.m. on Thursday, it's likely to be a Category 1 storm. And by 8 a.m. Sunday, it's likely to be a major hurricane. And of course, it's the first hurricane of the season in the Atlantic. This is a look at our hurricane model plots. And of course, we call these spaghetti plots because, you know, they kind of look like strings of spaghetti. They're nicely packed together. That means there's good agreement. And these are all specific hurricane models. So these models are designed to sample hurricanes and see where they may be headed. Notice almost all of these, by the time we get to Tuesday, make that curve to the north. Now, that's going to sort of be dependent on whether or not we have a trough of low pressure or a cold front sitting offshore that helps to kick that away. The reason it's moving to the west is this.
As we wrap things up, here's a look at a few of the headlines we're following today. A North Carolina Central University student has died in the hospital after shooting at this Durham apartment complex. Police identified her as 21-year-old London Powers. It happened at the Camden Point Apartments on East Knox Street yesterday afternoon. Police say the alleged shooter, 23-year-old Damian Tinsley, also died at the scene.
Today, Wake County school leaders will get an update on maintenance for its air conditioning and heating systems across the district. This comes after more than 60 schools have reported some type of HVAC issue over the past 2 years. Since then, the district has doubled its HVAC budget, hired more staff, and replaced old equipment. School leaders are meeting 3 o'clock today.
Also in Wake County, the school district is holding its annual School Resource Officer Summit. Authorities and school security leaders are discussing the WRAL Panic Button app. They will also talk about law enforcement's role in behavioral threat assessments. People who attend will take part in a breakout as well that explores responses to bomb threats.
Michael Jordan's sport fishing boat, Catch 23, made a splash at the White Marlin Open in Maryland. Team Jordan caught a 71-pound marlin, good enough for second place. And Jordan didn't catch it himself. One of his teammates reeled it in. The winning marlin was just 1 pound heavier than theirs.
A Massachusetts couple is basking in the glow of a rare sight on the water.
Oh my God. 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 That's a killer whale right there.
The married couple and commercial fishermen were looking for bluefin tuna in a popular feeding ground, and that's when they spotted a pod of dolphins. And then they saw the giant dorsal fin.
It's a big deal, and I think it's because it's so rare, but it happens often enough that it's really all about timing of whether you're in the right place at the right time.
Old Tom is familiar to New England waters. He was first spotted in the area 17 years ago. Biologists confirm it's him based on markings and the fact that he's hanging with dolphins, not other orcas.
That's a 6-foot dorsal fin.
Whoa.
Yeah. Just think about that.
So cool. That's like your height.
Right. You stand next to that thing on its back. It's wild.
Preparing to leave the nest, parents can help set their children up for success as they step into independence. Coming up today on WRAL News at 4, what every young adult should know before heading to college.
Meantime, we know it's pretty gloomy out there right now. NBC News Daily is up next on WRAL, your next local news update in 30 minutes.
You can get breaking news updates anytime with our WRAL News app. Have a great day, everybody.
Stay safe with the latest WRAL Weather Alert Day info. Get up to the minute weather and traffic conditions when you get in your car. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM, in Durham 96.5 FM, and everywhere on 101.5 HD3.